My name is Lami Gidado, and in this video I'm going to be talking about play therapy. Before I go into play therapy, I want to talk about the benefits of play, and I will highlight 10 benefits of play in this video. And then in the next video, we'll talk about what play therapy is. So the first benefit of play is that it's fun. Play is fun. It reduces boredom, and this is important for life. We need to be able to be playful. We need to understand and be comfortable with teasing and other people teasing us. We need to be able to get enjoyment and give enjoyment as well. And we need to be comfortable with things not going our way. So that's one of the benefits of play. And in the long run, it helps with brain plasticity. So it changes the form of the brain as we play. The second benefit is freedom. Play is freedom. So we need to be able to assess risks. People who do not play cannot assess risk. You keep on doing the same thing over and over, and you don't do things outside the box. So we need to be able to enjoy play. Play also teaches us to be assertive. It's part of the freedom of play. If you see children at play, you see how a shy child is able to come out of their shell because they're doing things that they wouldn't normally do, right? It also helps to use power effectively. You see, when children are playing, there's a leader, there are followers. Sometimes they change roles, and they learn how to support leaders. They learn what it means to be a supporter. They learn what it means to be a follower. So play is freedom. The third thing is that play is about flexibility. So we learn how to investigate effectively when we play, and we also explore the unknown. We are able to experiment with all kinds of possibilities. So that's what makes a grown-up a problem solver. I often tell people that I can tell adults who play, I can tell if you played as a child, because problem solvers, they didn't learn it from the classroom, they learned from different activities. So you're able to think about different possibilities. It also helps us to cope with uncertainties. For example, during the COVID period, during the lockdown, there were people who found it really difficult, but there were others who explored and were able to even come up with new innovations. I know that we heard during COVID-19 how some people made millions of dollars or naira, and then some people went into depression. These things are, if they had the skills ahead of time, they would have been able to cope. I was able to develop an online program during this period because there were several parents that were calling me to ask what they could do with their children. They had no idea what to do with them. So I had to come up with an online course to teach them how to play with their kids. So it helps us to cope with uncertainties and to adapt behavior. And it helps us also to make the best use of the environment. Things change, our circumstances, our situations change. And when our environment changes also, we need to be able to know what to do, so it's about flexibility. The fourth one is social interaction. And I know that's the one thing that parents usually think play is for social interaction. But we can see already that it's much more than that. So children learn how to make friends, how to keep friends. They learn how to cooperate and to achieve things, with with agreed goals. They also learn how to chat informally with friends, which is an important skill. And of course, we know it's about socio-cultural diversity, just accepting different cultures, accepting how we're all different, right? Play gives us the opportunity to be able to do that. It's also an opportunity to enjoy solitude. So I remember when my son was younger, there were so many teachers that were concerned that he played alone. But I wasn't worried. And today I see how he is such a problem solver. And even when there are misunderstandings between different groups, he's the person that they would call to help to solve the problem. But he's someone who really enjoys solitude. He knows how to go away on his own and to just enjoy being on his own. And that means that he can entertain himself. And it means that, for someone like that, they don't turn to things like drugs to entertain themselves. He can find ways of just being happy. So it's about enjoying solitude. It's also about negotiating and resolving conflicts in a civil way. It's also important for understanding ourselves, knowing who we really are. I currently do play therapy for adults, and what I find is that most of them have no idea what their personalities are, who they are, but play gives you an opportunity to discover yourself. So it's for social interaction. Number 5 is socialization. Play is about socialization. So it's about understanding your own culture, which is fading these days because children do not play. Many children close from school late. When I was young, we would close from school at 1 o'clock and we didn't have homeworks. And we were free to go out and play until the sun sets. But these days, children have to stay in school until 5 p.m. sometimes, and they come back to so much homework, and they don't have the opportunity to go out and play and learn about other people's culture and, just learn about social rules, So we see a lot of children do not know what to do in a social environment. So they don't understand social rules. Play is also about preparing for adulthood. During play, children, you see how somebody is playing the role of the father, someone is playing mother, someone is playing nurse or doctor or an architect. So they have the opportunity to prepare for adulthood. And through children's play, I can tell who may be a nurturer and who will be a leader. So children are preparing for adulthood when they play. And it's also where they understand social hierarchies. So the 6th benefit of play is physical activity. Again, this is something that we all know. So we develop gross and fine motor skills when we play. We develop hand-eye coordination when we play. So play is important. We also learn to use our bodies effectively. I remember a child that was brought to me at the age of 8, and he had no spatial awareness. So that means that he couldn't control his body. He didn't understand the relationship between his body and space. So when he's walking, he's not sure if there's if it's a staircase or if it's tiles. And you can see him moving in ways that an 8-year-old should be able to do, to walk normally at that point. But he wasn't able to do that. And when I asked the mother about play, she told me that they were not allowed to go out to play. She was afraid of so many things, snakes and all kinds of things. So they were stayed locked up in the in their rooms. So he had no spatial awareness. So play is important for spatial awareness. It's also important for mental mapping. So mental mapping, when children play like hide and seek or treasure hunt, they sort of record in their brains. They're creating maps in their brains, and they can transfer that skill into the classroom. So when teachers are teaching, it's no longer abstract to them. They have pictures in their brains, but that comes from outdoor play. So it's important for physical activities, and also for developing the muscles, right? So that when they're older, they don't, end up with all kinds of sicknesses like osteoporosis. So it's important for physical activity. The seventh one is that it's important for environmental cognitive stimulation. So it's through play children are able to apply what they are taught in the classroom. So they learn that real things have shapes, different sizes. So that's math, right? They're able to explore all the language, the vocabulary that they're learning in the classroom outside the classroom. So they're able to apply it to real life. So it becomes environmental cognitive stimulation. There's a story I like to tell, and I have the permission of these people to tell this story because it just drives home the point I'm trying to make. So I was teaching 3 graduates to bake, and one day I left them alone with a recipe, and I asked them to mix the cake themselves. And I left them with measuring cups, and I came back after about 30 minutes and they had not started. And the recipe calls for, say, 1 cup and 3/4 cup of cocoa, and maybe 3 cups and 1/3 of flour. And they said my cups are not complete. So I have the 1/3, 1/3 cup, 1/4, and a full cup. And so they didn't know how to measure 2/3, and they didn't know how to measure 3/4, which was a shock to me because they are university graduates. So I had to go pick up sticks to show them what to do. So I picked up a stick and broke it in 2 and asked, how many parts of 1 stick do I have? And they said 2 parts. And I said, so this is 1/2 and this is 1/2. And then I broke them again to make 4 parts. How many parts of 1 stick do I have? And they said 4 parts. Okay. So show me 3 parts of this 1 stick. And then they showed me. And so I said, this is 3/4. And they were shocked because on paper they can do it, but they can't do it in real life. And they graduated from science courses. So, it was really a shock to me. And they could actually do it on paper, And so I did the same thing for 2/3, picked up another stick and did the same thing. So, but if children are allowed to play and to explore as you're teaching them, it stimulates their brains, and it becomes part of their memory. So they're able to apply it to real life. So it's important for that. Number 8 is creativity and problem solving. So play is important for creativity and problem solving. I've heard people say that children should not imagine, like there's some spiritual reasons why. And so one of the questions I ask is, do you allow your children to watch TV? And they say yes. Well, it's someone's imagination, So imagination, allowing children to be involved in imaginative play helps them to be creative, and then eventually they become problem solvers. So it also helps us to appreciate beauty and appreciate nature, appreciate what we have been given in our environment. And number 9 is for emotional equilibrium, sickness, and health. So in the developed world, in other countries, play therapists work in hospitals because they realize that children who have play therapists work with them, they get well faster than those who don't. So play therapies are important for, and play is important for recovery from emotional sickness and also physical sickness. And then the last one is self-discovery. It's self-discovery. It's really surprising. One of the questions I ask adults is to answer the question, who am I? And many people can't answer that. They haven't had the opportunity to discover themselves. But while children are playing, they try out different versions of themselves. And by doing that, they discover who they are. And they are doing it in a safe space. Play gives you the opportunity to feel safe, and to explore different forms of yourself. And then you're able to mix fantasy and reality and to come up with who you really are. So these are the 10 benefits of play, and I'll just mention them again. So play is fun, play is freedom, play is about flexibility, it is social interaction, and it is also socialization. It's about physical activity, environmental cognitive stimulation, creativity and problem solving, emotional equilibrium, and self-discovery. It's important for us to know these benefits of play, so that when we talk about what play therapy is, we'll appreciate it. We're also going to be exploring what all of this means for the brain. There's enough evidence to show that play therapy actually works. So I'll see you in the next video.